Hi everyone, in this video I'll be talking about how to create uncontested market space and make the competition irrelevant in your industry using Blue Ocean strategy. My name is Sukling, and in this video I'll be talking about 3 things regarding Blue Ocean strategy. The first is, what is Blue Ocean strategy? The second is, why should you harness Blue Ocean strategy? And third is an example that talks about Blue Ocean strategy. So you may be curious, what is Blue Ocean strategy? So before we can begin to answer the question, first of all, you have to know that in the world today, in the market space, there is 2 types of oceans: red ocean and blue ocean. So red ocean simply means that this is the marketplace. This is a market space where all the industries that exist as of today. And this is also known as the known market space. Whereas blue ocean simply means that these industries do not exist as of today. This is called the unknown market space. So basically in the red ocean, this industry boundaries is pretty much well known. We have top players with certain amount of market share in the industry itself. And as you can see, red ocean basically means is that in this industry, there are a lot of players that are coming onto the market trying to grab for market share. And basically it gets very, very competitive, as why it's called red ocean. So basically, on the other hand, when we look at blue ocean, this refers to an untapped market space that is virtually no competition as of yet, but there's opportunities to grow as long as you can innovate. Now that you know the difference between the red ocean and the blue ocean, you might be asking, why should you create a blue ocean strategy for your company in the first place? Reason number 1, because of accelerated technological advances. So what this means is that nowadays, technological advances have improved the productivity and also allowed suppliers to produce a huge amount of products and services. So it also means that globalization has made competition much more stiff for companies and industries. Reason number 2, niche markets and havens for monopoly are beginning to disappear. Now, because there is so much of information on products and services readily available instantly through the internet, it becomes much more competitive, because anything that is unique and innovative in one market and is extremely lucrative, as long as there's information available on the internet, other competitors can start moving into the industry and start competing for that particular market share. Now, reason number 3 is supply is on the rise as global competition intensifies. Now, according to the Blue Ocean Strategy book, there is no clear evidence of an increase in demand worldwide, and statistics even point to a declining population in many developed markets. So basically, this has accelerated the price war between companies that are just trying to grasp for the existing market share, and also basically shrinking profit margins. Now, the 4th reason of why you should have Blue Ocean strategy in your industry for your company is because if your company is in an overcrowded industry, it gets really difficult to differentiate brands in both economic upturn and downturn. Now, this means that the business environment in which your company operates in, and also the strategy and management approach, is beginning to evolve. So, and this gets much more trickier if the industry that you're in is very crowded already. So it becomes basically like a red ocean, where it becomes much more competitive. Everybody's trying to slash their prices. It gets very difficult to differentiate yourselves from your competitors. So management needs to start going into the Blue Ocean strategy rather than wait for things to change. Now, based on the reasons I mentioned above, this is why it's getting so important to think about how can you create a Blue Ocean strategy. Now, let's say you're already in a red ocean. Chances are, people in your industry and maybe yourself, you guys think about, how do you race to be the competition? How do you try to be the top player in your industry itself? Now, whereas if we look at Blue Ocean strategy, it focuses on value innovation. So what it means is that we are changing our mindset to think about how can we make competition irrelevant by creating a leap in value for buyers in your company. So it becomes a win-win position. On top of that, we are thinking about how can we open up new and uncontested market space. So it means that if you are the first person to open up a new market space, you have first mover's advantage. So you have a bit of time before other people start to move into this new industry. Now, if you want to create a blue ocean for your company, you have to think about the value innovation strategy. So based on this diagram, one circle refers to value, the other circle refers to innovation. Now, if you overlap these two circles together, you get the value innovation strategy. So why is it so important to have value innovation strategy in the first place? Because if you have value without innovation, it basically means that you're going to focus on value creation, but it's not sufficient enough to make you stand out in the marketplace. Now, if you focus on innovation without value, chances are you'll be technologically driven and be futuristic, but then sometimes you will be shooting beyond what the buyer is ready to accept and pay for. Now, chances are sometimes the companies that are very innovative, if they cannot monetize it right now because the timing is not correct, chances are few years down the line, when the companies that see this innovation and they are able to sort of match it back to what the buyers are ready to accept and pay for, then they start to use this. They start to use whatever the first movers have actually thought about. So basically, the whole idea of value innovation is that companies basically have to align their innovation with utility, price, and cost positions. So value innovation is basically a new way of thinking about and executing strategies that results in creating a blue ocean, and therefore you can start to not compete with other competitors in your existing industry. Now, end of the day, it's a huge stretch to think about value innovation in the first place, because in the past people used to think either I create a great value to my consumers at a higher cost, or I create a reasonable value at a lower cost. So people used to think that they either have to make a choice between differentiation or low cost. If you want to create a blue ocean using value innovation strategy, basically you're trying to say that you're going for both differentiation and also low cost simultaneously. So this is why blue ocean is a game changer for companies and industries. Now we move on to the example of a successful blue ocean strategy implementation. Now we are going to look at these two companies, Cirque du Soleil and Renée Brothers. Now some of you may have heard of Cirque du Soleil or watched their videos through the YouTube. Cirque du Soleil basically has a lot of this beautiful acrobatic performances, and it's really entertaining as well. It's basically a combination of circus and theatre performances. Versus Renée Brothers is basically a company that provides circus entertainment. So now the difference between these two companies is that Cirque du Soleil came into the industry and noticed what was working and what was not working. So basically combined Broadway and circus together to give the audience a whole new experience. And when they were able to do that, they begin to tap into the circus and theatre audience. Whereas Renée Brothers all these years had been, having the standard circus show, and their audience was basically just circus audience. Now, when Cirque du Soleil basically ended up having a lot of productions that were high-end, they combined theatre and circus together, and basically it provided more options for the audience to actually see all these shows. Whereas Renée Brothers only had one for all shows, so this was the only standard offering that they had. So when Cirque du Soleil had a lot of multiple productions, this basically meant that audience could have many shows that they could go to, and that sort of increased the revenue in terms of the audience, and that increased the revenue for the company itself. Now, in the circus industry itself, it's very common to have animal shows, star performers, and aisles concession sales. Now, the third item that was different between Cirque du Soleil and Renée Brothers was that Cirque du Soleil did not want to have animal shows, star performers, or aisles concession sales, because having animal shows and star performers were really expensive, and there's also a lot of cost when it comes to taking care of the animals and also paying your star performers. And in terms of aisle concession sales, they felt like We want to provide a unique experience for customers that is so amazing. So we don't want to actually have these other items in. So instead of having animal shows, star performance, and else concession sales, Cirque du Soleil decided to focus on the three things about the circus experience and make it even better. So now they focused on things like the tent. So circus has always been associated with the tent setup, and they try to figure out how do they create a venue that's visually appealing and also improve on it. They also basically decided to invest more into clowns and acrobatic acts and create a level of production that is so high quality where you can attract the audience that is willing to pay to see such beautiful performances. So as you can imagine, their price per ticket is pretty high compared to Ringling Brothers. But then again, when you have production that is incredibly well done and is beautiful and is aesthetic, and you give the audience a truly unique experience, then the audience is more than willing to pay to experience that experience itself. So as a summary, what they have decided to do, they focus on tapping into new markets, and they focus on providing a unique experience for customers where customers are willing to pay a high price per ticket. In this video, I've talked about what is a blue ocean strategy. I've also talked about why you should begin to think about implementing a blue ocean strategy for your company. And I've also talked about the successful story of how Cirque du Soleil implemented a blue ocean strategy for their company. Now leave me a comment in the comment box below. I'm curious to hear whether you have any successful stories of how companies have implemented blue ocean strategy. Or if you're thinking about using a blue ocean strategy, what would you begin to do differently to implement blue ocean strategy within your